Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Because Football podcast. We've got a great additional installment of the Icarus Cup Series for you here. Today, we're changing pace. We're talking to one of our sponsors here, so we're going to get his view of what it's like to be connected and to collaborate with the Icarus Cup crew. So I want to introduce you all to Jason Triglia, founder, owner of Yerba Crew, a Yerba Mate company. We're going to talk more about the beginnings of Yerba Crew, why soccer is so important for Jason and his company. But first, Jason, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you having me on. It's awesome to see you again after our first meetup last year. So
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, plugging my video from last year's Icarus Cup in Philly, where Jason got a lot of great FaceTime telling us about it. We got a nice little introduction, so you can see some of the clips from that in that video. We'll be linking in the description. But I'm curious for you, Jason, what's your first earliest memory of soccer?
I think can't quite remember it, but I know I played soccer like I was going to say professionally, but not really. Like for a team since probably kindergarten all the way through junior year in high school. So I have a full background on it. Grew up with a bunch of friends on the street and stuff, so we would play. So I would say probably like since I was like 5 years old and probably a little bit earlier. But I remember because I was going through my my parents had all of our photo albums from when we were younger. Yeah. And I have like the corny little thing with my I think my hand on the ball or on the knee or whatever, the foot on the ball.
Classic like the pose. Yeah, exactly.
1990 photo op outside. So I remember that. And then, and then I basically played all through grade school into high school. And senior year, I switched. I did cross country for high school. But so I loved it. And it was great.
Awesome. So, yeah, it sounded like even from a younger age, you're kind of in like a little soccer community, even in your neighborhood, which is kind of hit or miss, right, in the U.S., like depending on where that was. But cool to hear that, it's just you with the kids, playing on the street. Like those are such amazing core memories. So tell us a little bit of the background with Yerba Crew, how it kind of got started for some of the listeners who might not know what Yerba Mate is, or maybe we've just heard of it. It's definitely becoming a more common drink in the U.S. It's been, a traditional drink in South America, specifically Argentina, Uruguay, parts of Paraguay, Brazil. So give us a little bit of a background on what Yerba Mate is and then how Yerba Crew got started.
I'll introduce it in a sec. So the way that I got introduced to Yerba Mate was 2008. And I was at work doing IT project management, and they put us in like a little warehouse room, no windows, anything like that. And we had a vendor come up from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, and 3 of the consultants came in and they pulled out their gourd, their bombilla, a little thermos, and they started prepping what I had no idea what it was. And it was just like, what is this funky stuff going in the warehouse? And then they explained that it's Yerba Mate and that it's like, just completely embedded in their culture. And even when people would explain it still today, like I can explain it with like high in antioxidants, amino acids, energy. And a lot of the times when you meet people that have been drinking it forever, they're like, I don't know all the benefits of it. I just know I love it and I drink it every day and I will never stop drinking it. And I form a bond with everyone that I drink it with. And it's like, that's at the core of it. So if I go back now, what is Yerba Mate? It's basically like a type of holly bush. So even if you can kind of call it a tea, but officially it's not a tea because it's not part of the tea plant. But it's a type of holly bush, and it's grown in like mostly in like the northeast region of Argentina, where it borders with Paraguay, Brazil, and it's like this Iguazu waterfalls area. And so they produce a lot of it there, and it's basically the bush, and they'll chop off the leaves, the stems of the bush, dry them out, age them, and then bag them up. So they're cut into smaller leaves. And then traditionally, like say you go a couple hundred years back, what people would do is you'd actually like kind of sit around in your circle around the fire, anything like that in the morning with your family and friends. And someone would prepare the yerba mate. So they would stick it in originally like a calabash, like a pumpkin type of
Okay.
gourd.
Yeah. Like hence the gourd, right? Yeah.
And kind of show the yerba in there, but they would fill it up
Mm-hmm.
about like 3/4 of the way with this yerba mate. And then they put I don't want to pull this out, but the bottom of this straw has a little strainer built into it. So what you'll do is take hot water. And so today we go from a thermos, pour about 2 ounces of that water into the yerba mate gourd, and then you sip it through the straw. So you're just pulling the flavor from the mate through the straw into your mouth. And so like that's the traditional way to do it. And what you usually get from it, it has caffeine. It has like, say on average, like 80 milligrams of caffeine. Maybe coffee is around 85 milligrams.
Okay.
A little bit tougher to actually say how much because you're drinking it differently and you're pouring this water in versus making like a strained type of tea. But yeah, so what they used to do ritual wise, sitting around in a circle, and it was very much ritualistic. Now, if you go like anywhere, what drew me in is like when you go to like Argentina, you walk past a park or through a park, and it's just everybody. Like as soon as I got off the airplane, it was just walking through the airport. You see it. I got onto a bus. The driver had a person helping him next to him. The person was filling up the yerba for him, handing it to him. He would sit while he's driving, hand it back, and it's just like completely there. You're sharing it with people, so it doesn't matter like your hierarchy or your status in the family, your status in work, anything like that. You're all drinking mate together. So it's like our equivalent of going out to the bar and grabbing a beer, where it's like okay, we're humans, we're drinking it together, and you get this nice like focused energy from it. So it's known to be less of a big surge in energy and then drop. It's more of the steady kind of energy. And like I'll notice if I'm drinking in the morning, it's like 2 hours just in the zone, whatever I'm doing. If I'm doing work or if I'm with people, it's a nice steady focus there.
Yeah, I think the point you make about the community piece is so key because, again, it's hard to explain. I think that's part of the interesting thing that you're trying to do in the U.S. that we'll talk about. But yeah, in your Argentinas, Uruguay, like you said, the park, in the bus, public transport, everybody's got these big carrying cases. So they have like the whole bag of yerba, right, of the leaf. And then they've got their thermos, which is really heavy, hardcore thermos as well, plus the gourd. So yeah, it's like a whole set that everyone has, but especially that element of just being together. And you make the example, it's hard to make like a cultural equivalent. So again, I don't think we really have an equivalent, but can definitely speak to the fact of, it's a way to connect with other people, whether they're new friends or again, with your family. Some people are drinking it all day and have it, outside as well, or some people just have it at home. Like obviously you had the background of playing soccer yourself, and you've been a big supporter of not only Icarus Cup for the past few years, but you also sponsor a team, Brothers of the Gourd FC, right, in the CASA League in Philly. Like, what was it about soccer in particular that you thought just really went, hand in hand with mate, or you thought it was a good fit for helping to build community, build bridges, and as a strong part of your marketing for Yerba Crew?
Yep. And also now starting this spring, I'm also sponsoring a women's inclusive team that's in
CASA.
Awesome. Yeah, the Ragers FC. So they play Thursday nights. So I just went out to a game a couple weeks ago, and it was awesome. Yeah, very high energy.
Cool.
A lot of fun. But yeah, as far as like the overlap with soccer, the original overlap was I was just hosting my Mateadas, which are meetups. People just come out, drink Yerba Mate together, and then also doing some collaborations with for like yoga events, things like that. And maybe 2 years ago, I got an Instagram message from a guy, his name's Dan, saying, "Hey, we have this team in Philadelphia called Brothers of the Gourd. I don't know how we haven't like met each other yet, because I've had my business since 2020. He's had Brothers of the Gourd, I think he said, for like 10 years or so. And he's like, do you want to just introduce ourselves, all that kind of stuff, meet up?" So we had like a video call, and then the next weekend I went out to the game, and it's like, this is where you see, I think in general with soccer, it's like everyone I'm meeting playing soccer are high energy, they're active playing soccer, but then also usually active in like their life. And it's very much a team sport. So I went out to the game, gave some people some of the yerba. I think I might have had some type of cold brew there, and people loved it. And it was like I was like the water boy, but with yerba mate.
Yerba boy.
Yeah, yerba boy. Actually, at the game that I was at 2 weeks ago for the Ragers, across the field, someone was like, "Yerba guy," and like I just heard it in the distance, and then they came running over. I gave them a tray of yerba. They took it to their team, drank it. But yeah, so I think like soccer wise, as far as the overlap from people and energy, I think it's very much that high energy. People are just overall pretty happy, like, and when you're playing the game, happy. And also say from more like how it affects your body. Yeah, it gives you more energy, so you can drink it before. And then also a lot of people look for like any sport really, like what's your daily routine leading up to the game? How do you get into that right kind of like mental zone,
for
physical zone? And it's like you have this ritual, you have this, you're filling up your mate, you're gonna just kind of say relax a bit, sip it, get into that right zone, and then you're getting that energy going into the game. So I think from a people and then physical actual effect on you, it's huge. And then on the other side of it, then you have Messi and these other huge footballers, right? So it's like, and for me, I've seen a change over the past 5 years I've had the business. Like as soon as Messi came to the US, it was really when Argentina won the World Cup. That was a big jump in awareness. And then when Messi was started playing for Miami, that was huge too. And then with all the sponsorships, things like that. So in the soccer world, at an event, and I have my yerba mate, I don't need to explain the whole entire background of what yerba mate is. They already kind of know. They go, oh yeah, that's that stuff where you see that Messi walking around with his gourd and thermos underneath.
Context, right.
Yeah. So it's very nice to have that background because people understand what that is. I'm still a small business, so I can't put like big advertising, billboards out with awareness campaign, all this stuff. So it's people are already aware of what it is and they want to try it. And I'm there for that. I want people to understand like the traditional side of the yerba mate preparation with the actual gourd, where it's not just considered like a high energy drink that you just buy in a can. I want them to understand also the traditional side because of like the impacts of that and the routine and like the community side. I consider that's like 85% of the benefit is the non-actual drink part of it. The 15% of it is the health piece of it and the energy piece of it. But I think a lot of the benefit that you get from it is everything else around it. So my goal is for people to be aware of it, try it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But like at least you're aware of what's out there, because then the people that do like it, now you have a drink that's an alternative to just coffee or energy drinks, anything like that.
And I think obviously you make the point with Messi. Now we're always seeing pictures and videos of him in the Inter Miami tracksuit walking into the stadium, usually with Suarez next to him, who as a Uruguayan also is obsessed with the mate culture, and they're sharing and passing back and forth. That's how actually I first learned about mate, was back in their Barcelona days, seeing that. And it's kind of this curiosity, like, what's going on there? What is that? But because it is Messi, because it is Suarez, or, even if you look, there's a lot of good videos out, on YouTube, you can find of different professional players explaining the significance of mate and kind of sharing that with the world. So it's an interesting time as well. It's great timing for Yerba Crew, of course, to help share the message of mate now that Messi is in town and is such a big part of that. In terms of like CASA in particular, you're sponsoring the two teams in CASA now within Icarus Cup. How did that kind of come on your radar, and what's been your experience as being a sponsor of, not just the teams, but of the event as well?
Yeah. And so it kind of goes back to Brothers of the Gourd and Dan, who introduced me to it. He's like, this whole organization, CASA League, is awesome. He's like, it's big, and the people that run it, he could just introduce me to them, and they're very open to collaborating with people. So he introduced me to Nolan and to Kristen, who runs most of the events. And we're like, I explained kind of what I was doing with Brothers of the Gourd, and they were like, this can work with some of our other events too. So we just did like a kind of informal collaboration where it started to come out to more of their events, set up a table. And it's, I think, very much they're building organization, nonprofit, and like very community focused also. And so it's these events that they're hosting are for a good cause. They have a lot of people coming out that want to not only take part in the actual event that they have, but also very open to learning about other things. So, and I think they're looking to grow. And for me, I'm looking to grow too. So it works nicely where I can also offer like a healthy alternative to maybe some other bigger, sponsors that are more alcoholic driven or things like that. And so it's a nice balance to be able to offer it there. So yeah, with CASA, I participated in Icarus Cup last year, along with some of the other CASA events. And I could drive the Icarus Cup, over 800 people coming through. We have all these teams playing, and it's like a gigantic event, and people are coming past the tables. That's where I met you. And like very much wanting to learn. And so for me, it works perfectly. It's local to Philadelphia. It's a great organization. You have great people coming through it. And, it's my tagline motto for Yerba Crew is drink to connect. So it's connect with yourself, to each other, and a tradition. So I think with Casa League, it hits all of those, and the people there want to drink. They want to connect to themselves. You're connecting to each other and connecting to that tradition of energy and sharing there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think the energy piece is big too for Icarus Cup, because it's this real kind of like festival atmosphere. You've got music, you've got not only your tent, but other food trucks, vendors, kind of a variety. And then you've got everybody in between their games, hanging out in their places. And it's just like this awesome community of really soccer passionate people. And that's what's drawn me to the event as well. I'm curious from like the business marketing perspective. Obviously you have a lot of like creators and storytellers who like on following your guys on Instagram, and we'll see people posting all kinds of beautiful places and different times of day, having their mate. It's such an integral part. And again, we've collaborated because Football and Yerba Crew recently with a mate and football video. So kind of the culture and how it connects to the game. So I'm going to plug that as well for everybody listening and watching. Check that out on YouTube. We'll put the link below. But what is it, do you think, about with Icarus Cup being an in-person event that just kind of really brings out that edge, or kind of brings that extra element versus the digital marketing piece for you as a business?
If you ask, I don't know, I'll say majority, but I don't actually know what it is. Maybe it's, I would assume it's like 80% of the people that are drinking mate, especially outside the US. But like how they learn about it, it was either they grew up with it, family, or a friend. They roomed with someone in a dorm in college that drank it, or they met someone and someone physically was with them setting up the mate properly, kind of things, that they weren't sucking up the leaves at first, things like that. So to be able to physically show someone how it works, physically share it with somebody, like you can achieve more of that connection piece of it in person. And obviously they can see my energy forever. Like as far as like having a business and being passionate about what you have, it's like, it's very much true. It's 5 years in and it's still, they can see the energy that I have from it. So I think that in-person piece is massive. I think the online piece is really nice to have the community digitally, be able to show people like, with people all over the place that are drinking mate. And so it's like, what is this global community around an infusion, a drink? So yeah, I think physical in person is awesome.
You make a great point with like that introduction piece, because again, it can look a little bit daunting, I'm sure, as we're explaining it to people who are listening who don't have the context or the background. They're like, it seems like a bit much, but I can say, as I'm still pretty much a beginner when it comes and that's, some gourds look a little prettier than others. But, when I first started, like the first few times were just with friends in Argentina, and then we're about to have a road trip. So I was like, all right, if I'm doing a road trip in Argentina, I gotta have my own gourd. I gotta go for it. And once I got it myself, I kind of fell in love with that whole process. And really, when you compare it to like using a Keurig or a espresso machine or whatever it is, I think it's a lot more like satisfying process. And then you can kind of make it to your taste as you go. So to anybody listening who's going to be at Icarus Cup Philadelphia, this is your invitation to go try it for the first time with Jason, and he'll take care of you. But another thing I almost forgot that really stuck out when I met is that you guys have some amazing stickers as well, like Philly inspired mate stickers. Do you guys have any new additions coming out for this summer?
I have a lot of grand plans, and also those stickers are another like community collaboration with. It was between myself and her name is Romy. She's out in California. She's an illustrator, but she's from Argentina, and so awesome. I had found her Instagram account. She was creating these really cool illustrations, and reached out to her, and then we agreed to like do a collaboration for these stickers. So it's really cool to do the collaboration piece, and then I get to see some of like the manifestation of things that like I always wanted to do, and she created it, and so it was awesome. So I'm doing more collaborations with her. We have she helped design the new Yerba Crew yerba packaging also.
Yeah, you guys now have your not only selling other Yerba Mate brands, but now you've got the Yerba Crew brand. So that's a new release. Congratulations on that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So sticker wise, I have these ideas on different angles to go and different like little packs and things like that, but have to figure it out. I also have some other ideas for more kind of packaging for people because these are resealable. It's nice regardless of if you're ordering, my actual Yerba Crew Yerba Mate or just any other type of Yerba Mate, to be able to store it in a nice resealable bag. So we have some cool ideas hopefully coming up over the next couple of months.
Awesome, man. No, love that. Love that. Beyond just having the opportunity to try yerba for the first time, or any loyal returning customers that come see at the tent, what would you say to people about Icarus Cup in general, about just kind of the overall feelings and vibes, and maybe even if they're not playing, what would you say that someone should come get involved?
Yep. And I remember like walking into the event and feeling it like myself. It was 8 a.m. and you walk in and there's already games going on and like people are running, and it's like it turns your head on to being like, I need to be awake now and going and whatever. And so it's when you go, even if you're not participating, you're going to get that high energy, and you could walk. There's so many games going on. You could walk from field to field. You could see the players, the energy there, the fans, and then also they have like great food there. And then they have the whole section with different vendors that are in there. I don't know if Philadelphia Union is coming again this year, but like people like Philadelphia Union, they had last year, I think it was like another vendor came, or the zoo came, I think, with like the hawk or the eagle.
Yeah, the Raptor Johns.
Yeah,
Raptor Johns. They like education, so they had like owls and hawks and stuff. I was not expecting that. That was a very cool touch as well. And you got a lot of the Icarus kits, like other versions and editions for sale too. Music, they got the big TV screen playing the soccer highlights all day. But I agree, man. You definitely feel it coming in, and there's multiple games going on, and then it's this like awesome mosaic kaleidoscope of all the different jerseys and kits, which are amazing too. I'm excited, to see this year's edition. I know that for some of the events, like for Philly, Austin, I think those kit selections have gone out and they've been snapped up right away. And for the Boston event should be soon. But no, man, that's a great way to put it and describe it. And yeah, I agree. Like this will be my third year. I still haven't played as part of a team. Maybe we'll see if we can get a Because football team in the future, but I just love to be around it. I just feel like I'm around like-minded people who just love the game, who want to have a good time together. And I think CASA and Icarus FC just do an amazing job, like cultivating that community, but also just having an excellent, like really highly organized, they're great with the logistics, and it's just like an awesome event all around. So I know with this being year 5 for the Philly event, I think it's going to be even bigger and better. So very excited to see it.
Also, last year they did it for the first time, and they're doing it again this year. Is the Sunday is a skills competition.
Yes. Are you going to jump into that?
I'll jump in behind my table. There. Maybe.
Come on.
If that was it was excellent. Like last year was really cool. It was like a smaller subset of people, and like the people that are participating are on the field. I could just be on the field giving the mate, drinking mate while I'm watching, and it's really cool to see. It's like the all-star weekend kind of skills comp.
Exactly.
For sports, and it's like really exciting. I see that part growing a huge amount also. So I would definitely, if you could, stick around for the Sunday too.
Exactly.
It's great.
Yeah. Saturdays like that, hardcore but somewhat friendly competition of the tournament, and then Sunday is kind of the dust is settling and everybody who's still got some energy left to participate. If you're listening and you're on a team, you want to get involved with that, you should reach out to your team captains. They'll know who to contact for signups and those things so you can be a part of it. But I am going to ask you though, Jason, if you had to pick, I think there's like a passing challenge, dribbling, a crossbar challenge, there's goalie wars. If you had to pick any of those that you had to participate in, which one do you think you'd have the best chances at?
All right. So best chance would be probably passing, because there's so many goals out there that like I could be aiming to the left when I might get it in the right one.
Playing your odds.
Yeah. Other than that, I think they had one where it was like a target one where you have the corners, pick the corners.
Okay, for shooting. Awesome.
Crossbar, I think it would be terrible at. Juggling, terrible at. And but yeah, so I would say not terrible at, but plenty of room for improvement on those ones.
Awesome. Well, hey man, I'm hoping to be there. I might make a little appearance, and if I do, I'm going to rope you into that as well. We gotta get you into one of those. But not, Jason, this has been awesome, man. Like, I was excited that we got to chat because we met last summer. Again, a great example of Icarus Cup bringing people together. We've had the opportunity to, chat and support each other, what each other are doing. And I just love how you do value and champion community. So excited to see you this summer, man. Looking forward to that. But before we let you go, because this is the Because Football podcast, I'm going to hit you with the question that we lay on all of our guests. And that is, could you complete the sentence, because football?
I would say, because football, we meet so many strangers and build a community that you couldn't do it without it.
Awesome, man. Beautiful. And especially so with the Yerba Mate, right? We get to go to the play, but post-match, a nice, healthy way to hang out together with a cheeky little mate. So amazing. We're going to see you guys very soon at Icarus Cup. Jason will be in Philadelphia, as I will, but Austin is going to be amazing too. The end of May, we've got the Boston event coming the first weekend of August. So if you're interested, make sure you get involved in some way with Icarus Cup. If people want to get in touch with you, Jason, they want to try mate, or maybe we've got some longtime drinkers that want to give Yerba Crew a shot, what's the best way to find more information about you guys and get in touch?
I would go straight to our Instagram, if you have Instagram, and just look up, it's at Yerba Crew. And I manage that. So if you want to DM with any questions, I'll reply there. And then obviously, we also have our website, YerbaCrew.com. So there you can see everything from our products, but then also we have a lot of educational side of things too, blog posts, things like that. So I would say between those two, get plenty of information, but just reach out whichever way you want. Instagram's the best for me though.
Awesome. Yeah, we've got those links in the description, so make sure you guys check it out. Thank you all for watching and listening. This has been another awesome installment of the Because Football Icarus Cup series. We hope to see you guys in person soon or on another podcast episode. Peace.